Hey guys, Jeremy here at My Way MFG. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I did. We're going to try to get the gas tank back in the car this week, get it running again, I think. It's my plan. But I'm heading into town today, and I think I'm going to stop by the glass shop and have them cut me 2 new pieces of glass for the wing vents. So I've still got the glass in this one. It's broke. This garnish molding's in pretty good shape, I believe. I'm going to drop this off at the glass shop. They should be able to make a pattern out of that one and just cut me 2 new ones. So I'm just going to take them the whole garnish molding. So I would probably break it getting it out of there. And if I trace a pattern out from it, it might not be as good as they could do it. So I'm just going to take this up and leave it with them. And hopefully when I go to pick it up, I'll have 2 new pieces of glass for that. The seal kit for the wing vents I can get online. It's $66 for the rubbers and the clips and the rivets and everything. And then we'll have to get some paint, get these all painted up and put back together with the new stuff. I don't have either one of the side glasses. I had a partial piece of one. It was like half missing. I used it and kind of guessed the rest of it and made me a pattern. So hopefully the side glasses fit when I go to put them in. But if anything, they're probably too big. I could take them back up and I could grind them back or whatever, but I think they'll probably work. But I'm not going to get them cut just yet. I want to concentrate on just getting these in for now. And then we'll get both of these side garnish moldings painted with the glass in them, as well as the windshield ones painted, and get them reinstalled. And I've got one of the back ones off on the rear driver's side. We'll go ahead and get it done while we're doing the other 3. And that only leaves 2 left to do, which are still on the car at the moment. But yeah, we're just going to move on with some of these garnish moldings and windows and stuff, I think. The kit to get the glass, the big piece in the doors, that gets pretty expensive. By the time I get that shipped here, it's like $205, $210, something like that. But it's the good kit. I think it's coming from Dennis Carpenter. And all the clips are made in the right places to slide back in. It comes with all the fasteners, rivets, and it even has that bottom bar that the glass tapes into, so you don't have to worry about trying to reuse that. And it's probably worth the money if it makes my life easier, you know, because some of that universal stuff just doesn't make your life all that easy. Anyway, heading to town here in a bit, guys. Now I got my glass dropped off up at the glass place for the vent windows. Ran this through the car wash, at least get some of the salt off of it, you know. Pretty good weather here last week or so. And guys, I carried this gas tank in last night and I got it all cleaned up. That's the new one that Brian had bought when he was working on the car. Cleaned up pretty good, I thought, for being underneath a rusty car for the last several years. I got to looking. That's Bob Drake. Brian, he wasn't messing around with them India guys, was he? That's a good one. But anyway, we'll go over there here in a bit and see if we can get that back in the car. Guys, I got this gas tank back up in here. I'm not going to be able to film any of this very good, but I read online that it was hard to get them in there because they sat on top of the frame rails. And when he took it out, I didn't have a trunk floor, so it wasn't too bad. I could tip it way up. They said on the internet, from what I read, they said it seems impossible, and right when you think it ain't gonna go, you get it. Well, that's basically what happened. I had to mess with it. I've been under here for an hour. I had to undo both of my tailpipe hangers. And then I had to undo this tailpipe up the muffler and spin it so I could tilt it and get it out of the way. I got this side in all the way with the fuel neck pointing through the hole. And then I took a pry bar and I pried it here until I could get it to pop up over the frame rail. And it bent the corner of the gas tank a little bit, getting it up in there. It also bent out this inner fender well structure from pushing on it. But I can fix that and get it bent back down. But I don't know how Ford expected a guy to do that, really. Seems like the way I did it's the only way to do it. But sometimes when you hear that stuff on the internet, something being hard like that, sometimes people overreact and it ends up being real easy, you know, and you think, well, wonder what they were meaning. It's going to be so hard. That wasn't too bad. This was pretty bad, but it is up in there. You know, I was at a point there where I was wondering if I was ever going to get it. But anyway, got that. As I work out here today, trying to get the gas tank and well, the gas tank back in the car and get all that button back up and see if it'll start maybe here after a while. I'm also working on these front door garnish moldings where the wing vents are. There's a nut and a spring under here that holds tension on this shaft, you know, to keep your wing vent from being floppy, holds tension on it. There's a big washer right here that the spring would push against. It's froze on there bad. I tried to get it off last winter and it wouldn't come off. It might require some heat, but I've got it soaking right now. None of this will pivot or anything. I think it's supposed to pivot right there. And of course, that being froze up is not allowing it to move. So we got to get that off so we can disassemble this. But these garnish moldings, even though all this cat whisker stuff and the rubber seals, it's all shot, it's all still on here. So I can see exactly how it installs. I can see where all the rivets are. I can see everything. So I'm going to take these apart one at a time. And then as I'm putting one back together, I'll have the original to look at, you know. And then we get the new one together and do the next one. But for right now, I'd like to get this one apart. And then I'll leave the other one together. Get this all finished off nice. We've got our glass being cut as we speak. I'll get these rubber wing vent seals ordered. And then we'll get this one put completely back together, you know. But I'm gonna let that soak for a while. I gotta go get some rubber strips or cork tape or something to put up on the top of the frame rail so the gas tank's got a cushion to set on. And I'm gonna go home and look for that stuff and probably go to the gas station, buy a can of gas and pour in it, maybe later today. See if it'll start. I would like to move it outside and take a leaf blower to the car and just blow some of this dust out of it. Anyway, guys, I was just realizing I was going to leave a wire hanging down for that sending unit. I forgot to do it. I didn't leave the access for it. Didn't think I needed it. Well, you do need it if you forget to put the wire on before you install the gas tank. So all that me going on about how hard that was to get that in there, guess what? I got to drop it back out. Put the wire on for the sending unit. Tape it so it's hanging down somewhere, and one of them deals, guys. But hey, maybe it'll go easier the second time, right? This oxyacetylene torch behind me, it's out of gas. I don't think this MAP gas is going to get hot enough to get this off of here, but I'm going to try it. It might. of there. It's kind of a square bore in there. I don't think it's meant to spin on the shaft. Yeah, it's a square hole. The shaft gets square up towards the top. So anyway, that's good. Suppose I put it back on there for now so I don't lose it, but I suppose the next step, I guess I get back down there and try to get this darn gas tank back out. Boy, I sure wish I hadn't forgot that, as much trouble as that was, you know. Pushed it over as tight as I could get it to the driver's side, and then I pried it up in there with a pry bar. So that's what I'm going to try to do to get it back out, I guess. At least I kind of know how it went the first time now. Got that wire on there and got it tightened up. A little lock washer on there. I couldn't understand why the original trunk had an access here. Most cars don't. You hardly ever have to get to that. Well, it's because the gas tank's so damn hard to get in and out of this, but you guys just watched me. After you do it once and know exactly where to pry and what to do, it makes it a whole lot easier. I was trying to figure it out the first time. But you got to pry it up in there. I mean, it just don't go. But anyway, I'm going to tape that wire to the side so I don't lose it. Go back up with this one more time. I'm not going to put that on speed forward lapse, time lapse. That went in quick. That's how long it took after knowing what to do. First time, I'm not kidding. It was close to an hour. All right. Back to where we started. Got some of the cork tape here. I think I'll Work pretty good for a cushion for those gas tank rails. So let's try to get that fitted up there and get some bolts in it. In the past, this car has dripped a little gas while I was filling it, or if I was to fill the gas tank up too far, I'd notice it would seep a little gas. I had been blaming that problem on the clamps on the filler neck, you know, with the rubber coupling and the two clamps. They were original, the old style Ford clamps. And when I put this back together just now, I put two new clamps on it and the rubber felt good. I assumed I had the problem fixed. Well, I went to pour gas in it. Hell, it leaked worse than it ever did. And I got to looking, and this filler neck's got a real thick coating on it. I don't know, it reminds me of Bondo. I don't exactly know what it is, but it's coated with this stuff, and I saw some cracks in it. And I ground it off, and that thing is full of pinholes. It just looked like cracks, you know, with this on there. Maybe somebody's applied that to try to fix them. I suppose that's what's happened. That might even be JB weld or something. I'm gonna try to weld these up, get it to where it don't leak, and this thing is probably pretty thin. I think I'm just gonna make a mental note that I need a new one, and sometime in the future when I'm ordering parts, I can't imagine that being very expensive. But I wanna try to just weld it up for now and see if I can get it to where I can use it, and just kind of keep in mind I need a new one, you know. One of my ink pen springs. Remember the last video? There's two of these laying somewhere. If I had been looking for that, I would never have found it. Ever. So I was welding up on that filler neck. It's very thin, very rusty. Terrible condition. I had no idea that stuff pops up like that, you know. You don't have any idea until you do. But I was welding on it. I'd have a little hole I could see daylight through. I'd weld on it. I'd have most laying in there be just a little more. Looked like I was never just gonna get them all. It was gonna leak, you know. It was just too rusty. So then I got to thinking, years ago, we put a fiberglass gas tank in a old Toyota Land Cruiser. Then I got to thinking, all these gas stations, they've got double-walled underground fiberglass tanks. So I got on my phone and I started Googling fiberglass gas proof. And the very first thing that popped up was gas has no effect whatsoever on fiberglass. That's information I knew but didn't think of, you know. Had I thought about it, I don't think I'd ever been welding on that. But I got it mostly welded up. Very tiny holes that were going to seep. I just skim coated the thing with fiberglass. So we'll let that set up. I think we can get by with it until it rusts out more, which it will. I got to get a new one. But anyway, I'm trying to get this place cleaned out today. So I'm working on that while the fiberglass is setting up. And then as soon as we get that back in, I'm going to move the car out and really clean this place. But anyway, guys, that's where we're at right now. Man, though, the weather here, I got to show you. This weather out here today is just unbelievable for the first week of February. It's like 50 degrees out here. It's never, ever that warm here in February. I can't say this is the first time it's ever happened, but don't happen very often, I'll tell you that. But good day to clean the garage, you know. I was wanting to show you guys this. This is Colton's 77 Chevy truck, we call Big Red. You guys that live in the southern states, this might not look too good, but for Illinois, this thing is unbelievably good shape. He gave $1,200 for this. Runs and drives, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Drive it anywhere. But we're going to be doing this as an upcoming project. He's got plans to make this thing really nice. He's gonna buy all new sheet metal for it. We're gonna get it all welded back together. New doors, new fenders. The box, I don't know if we're putting patch panels in or whole new box sides yet, but anyway, I imagine we'll be working on that a little bit through the summer. You know, if he starts getting the parts here. But this should be a fun project. And this thing will be really great, you know, when it's done. Anyway, I guess I walk back over here and see if my fiberglass is dried up any, you know. Try to get some gas in this car. Now here's our welded up and fiberglassed up filler neck. I can't see any daylight through it anywhere. Is it gonna leak? Yeah, if you guys could have really saw the condition of this up close like I did, I'd be really surprised if it doesn't. I'm thinking it's gonna seep somewhere. Is it gonna leak as bad as it did? Probably not. So maybe it'll buy us a little time, or maybe it'll work all together, but we'll get it back in there, see what happens here. So far, so good. Hey, that's dry as a bone. That might be a success. You know, if it gets rustier, it might start leaking again, but right now, that's always dripped a little bit, so we're better. We're better than we were. And if it does start leaking, I know what needs done. It needs a new one, you know. But we're gonna try to start this car. Hasn't been started since I brought it over here, I think the last week in November. So we might have to coax her a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. I wanted to get the hood open here, starting it for the first time. Make sure there's no leaks or stuck float on the carburetor or something like that that would come back and bite us. Got a little bit of gas registering on the gas gauge, so setting unit must be working. I can hear the fuel pump slowing down. Let's give her a little choke. started instantly and purred like a kitten. That's what I've always loved about this car. It's like it just wants to run. You know, you gotta love that. Yeah, there's a new gas tank back up in there. That's all staying good and dry. The frame rails, I done the tops and the insides where the gas tank goes with the POR 15. I didn't get the outsides and stuff yet. It'd just be easier to do with the wheels off. We'll get back to that later. The trunk floor has all been done, and then up above the gas tank, everywhere I had to get to. All the body mount bolts are back in. There's those two gas tank bolts up there on that side. There's cork tape in between the gas tank and frame. So the way this gas tank is supposed to mount, from what I'm reading, you got your two bolts on this side, and then on this side you've only got one. And the way I read, it's supposed to have a spring under it that holds tension on it to where the frame can twist a little bit. You're not using your gas tank like a cross member. So this is what I did. I dropped a 5/16 bolt through there, put a spring on it, and then I put a nylon locking nut on there so it can't back off. I don't know what the original looks like, but from what I read, that ought to be somewhat similar to the way they done it to begin with. So, and then there's more cork tape up there in between. But yeah, that's what we got going on there. So I wanted to show you guys this before I took it off the jack stands. I'm gonna pull the car out and start doing some cleaning in here. At some point, we're gonna replace these bushings and these shackles. I don't know if we'll get to it before we get through this winter or not, but that is gonna be coming. I wanna get that done. Anyway, we're gonna get her off the jacks for now. $59 degrees out right now. First week of February. Unbelievable. We've been cleaning the garage, cleaning Eliza. I'm gonna go home and grab a different shop vac. Colton shop vac sucks, or doesn't suck, or I've got one that sucks worse, or, well, mine sucks better, which makes it a better shop vac because it sucks. So I'm gonna grab that. All right, this is February 8th, 66 degrees, West Central Illinois. Unbelievable. I'm just gonna add this into the video just so I can look back on it and see that this was really a thing. Be hard to believe if you didn't document it. Unbelievable. Well, guys, the gas tank's back in. What can I say about that? First time I had trouble. Second time it's real easy after you figure out where to pry. You do have to pry. It's one of those things you just can't do gentle. Like you kind of got to approach the problem like you're mad at it, you know. But after you know how to do it, it ain't too bad. The car's running and driving again. The garage is somewhat clean, but we've got like 40-mile-an-hour winds going out here today. It's 60 degrees. They've even issued tornado warnings, I believe I saw on my phone. That's weird for February, right? But anyway, I had the garage door open. Every time I'd sweep something out, twice as much would blow back in. So it's better. And I had the car sitting outside. That wind really helped blow the dust off too. And anyway, it's just me kind of getting ready for the next step, which is going to be painting the Garnish moldings. Got to fix them up a little bit first, paint them, get the wing vents in. We'll get this a little cleaner before we paint, you know. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Yeah, everything went pretty good. Car's up and running again. Glad of that. Anyway, guys, hey, thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all them things. And we'll catch you on the next one. Garnish moldings, I think. Later. Jeremy.